What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Coaster Rundown, episode 7. My name is Cole, aka Park Pros. I'm joined, as always, by my good buddy Jack, aka Coaster John. Jack, we're back. How does it feel?
Feels great, Cole. I really miss doing the show with you, and I'm really happy that we were able to make the time and break down some coaster news. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, and I'm battling a little sickness. You've had a busy week, but we wanted to crank one of these out for you because it's been a couple weeks. So without further ado, let's jump right into the news. For our first topic today, Ride Entertainment released a statement last week that Gerstlauer is manufacturing a one-of-a-kind infinity coaster for a, quote, high-profile location in the United States. This coaster will open in late 2022 and will be formally announced at the IAAPA Expo in Orlando in 2 weeks. Now, this is obviously different from the record-breaking coaster that Gerstlauer teased us with earlier this year that ended up just being Defiance at Glenwood Caverns. But Jack, we're getting a third Infinity coaster in the US in 2022. What's your hype level for this, and where do you think this could possibly be going?
I mean, it's super exciting news out of Gerstlauer. I mean, I think it was a little bit unexpected because, the one going to Glenwood Caverns was really the one that was, being so hyped up that it was going to be so record breaking. And immediately everyone thought Cedar Point. The fact that it was, ended up being Glenwood Caverns was definitely, different. And, the records weren't like crazy records like everyone was expecting, like, the inversion record. But, Defiance still looks pretty cool. It's still great for a small park like Glenwood Caverns. But I'm really happy to hear, this more news from Gerstlauer, about this like brand new, yet another Infinity coaster coming to the United States, which is, it's of course super exciting for any manufacturer to be announcing new projects, things like that. And it's definitely different as well because I feel like it's usually the parks who are the ones that are really like hyping things up. But Gerstlauer, their marketing department's really been killing it recently. Like, they've been definitely hyping up their rides. And they're doing it once again with this new Infinity coaster. And yeah, this coaster could really go anywhere. So Cole, tell me, where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, like you said, Jack, there's really no concrete clues that we have of where this is going, no blueprints, no even land removal, really, that's clearly obvious for a coaster of this type. And you got to look at some of the phrasing in the press release, such as, high profile location. That kind of points to me that this could be, more of like a casino, maybe a destination area rather than, a traditional theme park getting this coaster. You also look at something like opening in late 2022 from the press release, which makes me think that this is somewhere, with a warmer climate, somewhere out west in the southeast or southwest. So these kind of clues we have to pick at don't give us a lot of options, but based on what we have, I could take a couple stabs. If I had to pick a theme park, my kind of stab at it would be Wild Adventures. They just closed Cheetah. They haven't really gotten like a brand new roller coaster since 2003. And Herschen's owned them for about 15 years now, and they haven't really gotten anything significant in that park in that time. So maybe Herschen just throws them a bone and, gives them a new ride in the place of Cheetah or maybe somewhere else in the park. My other guess would be something like Kima Boardwalk. It's been, almost 15 years there, too, since they built Boardwalk Bullet. So maybe they've been saving up for a big attraction like this. We know they're capable of building a great roller coaster like this, and the weather's pretty nice there year round.
And we know Kima Boardwalk loves their compact coasters. Obviously Gerstlauer can fit a whole lot of inversions in a small plot of land. So, Kima would be a fan of that.
Right. And then my last guess would be something like maybe Vegas, like a casino there. I mean, you could really pick any type of resort or attraction where this thing could go.
I think that definitely makes a lot of sense, especially when you consider the fact that they said high profile location. I think that's a really key phrase in that press release. As far as all the parks I was thinking of, they're not hugely high profile locations. So maybe I'm wrong in thinking them. I was mostly in the mindset of, like you said, like it's somewhere down south because they said it was opening in late 2022. So I was thinking definitely, it's possible that could be maybe like a Fun Spot park. And I know that Fun Spot Atlanta is getting that brand new RMC. So that gives me one of two thoughts. I'm thinking either one, the chain has enough money to be investing in these big ticket, big rides like an RMC, like a Gerstlauer into their parks. So it could be either that, but it could also mean that the park is, pretty much putting in all their chips on that one RMC in Fun Spot Atlanta. And they may not have more room in the budget for another big ticket thrill ride. So, it could mean either of those two things. So obviously you got to think to other Southern parks. And the other one that I have in mind is Alabama Adventure, which their last coaster was Rampage, which is as old as I am. They built that in 1998. So, they could definitely use another, huge ride at the park to bring in some more guests. Or, maybe, high profile location could just refer to the city or, like the location. It doesn't have to necessarily mean like a big park. So for that reason, I think, the options are almost like limitless. I mean, there might be some sort of smaller like FEC, like tiny little family park that hardly anybody knows about. And then, they might just have enough money to make this huge investment. So I think there's like so many options here. It's really exciting to think about, especially because of Glenwood Caverns. I mean, nobody saw that coming either. So like this one to me is just like very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, regardless, these Infinity coasters are just such good rides. I love Monster. I love Hang Time. Good on Gerstlauer for doing another big project, and I guess we'll find out in a couple weeks, and we'll have to discuss it on the show where it's going.
So the news that we all knew was coming has finally been announced officially. Six Flags Magic Mountain will be debuting their 20th roller coaster in the summer of 2022 with the RMC single rail coaster Wonder Woman Flight of Courage. Now, this near clone of Jersey Devil coaster at Great Adventure will stand 131 feet tall, 1 foot taller than Jersey Devil, boasts 3,300 feet of track, and top out at 58 miles per hour. Now, this seems like a pretty solid addition to Magic Mountain's already very formidable lineup, and an amazing replacement for Green Lantern First Flight, which, as I know, as I've heard, it was not a good ride at all. I know Airtime Thrills hates that thing. But Cole, what are your thoughts on this announcement with Wonder Woman Flight of Courage?
Yeah, we've known for a while that this was going to be a Jersey Devil clone or near clone. I'm sure that Six Flags just got it in a package deal when they purchased Jersey Devil as well.
That's a good point.
And the big topic of discussion here is the fact that they did build it 1 foot taller than Jersey Devil, which just goes
Typical
to show
Six Flags.
Six Flags will do anything to market a new roller coaster as a record breaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in all seriousness, yeah, like you said, Green Lantern was actually like the worst roller coaster ever built. So anything is better than that. This kind of fits into the area they're kind of building out with the DC themes right next to Batman and Riddler and all those flat rides over there. But yeah, this is just an incredibly formidable, coaster lineup now. I mean, from probably 1 to like 13, they have all like really good rides. So, but yeah, Jack, what are you thinking about this edition?
Well, obviously, with Great Adventure being my home park, I was thrilled to get Jersey Devil Coaster, which, at the time seemed like a unique addition and, something that was the first, original ride since El Toro. And now with this, I'm a little bit conflicted because now obviously it's going to be technically a clone or near clone or, just a carbon copy of, Jersey Devil Coaster. So it is a little bit disappointing there. But, it is a really great addition to Magic Mountain. And, the single rail coasters are awesome. Obviously, the larger scale ones aren't quite to the magnitude of Wonder Woman at Six Flags Fiesta Texas in terms of aggressiveness and, just quickness of the overall ride. And I'm also really happy for the park, too, because, they could have easily just added a kiddie coaster as their 20th coaster and then just marketed that like, hey, we have 20 roller coasters. But no, they wanted to go pretty big. But, they couldn't have just gone with a Flash theme. I love the Flash. I mean, I love Wonder Woman too, but there's just so many Wonder Womans in the Six Flags chain. It's like their new Batman. But
Yeah,
either way,
it is.
great addition.
So some Six Flags New England park goers posted pictures over closing weekends showing parts of Goliath, the park's Vekoma giant inverted boomerang, being removed, as well as a crane showing up at the ride site, kind of all but confirming that this coaster is on its way out. This development isn't really too shocking, with the coaster not operating at all in 2021. There were some rumors a while ago that Goliath could possibly be relocated to like a smaller Six Flags park, such as Frontier City. But from these pictures, they don't really seem to be removing it with much care. Jack, what do you think of the removal of this pretty troubled coaster? And what would you like to see Six Flags New England put in its spot?
It's a great question, Cole. Well, I just want to start with, the fact that Goliath, to me, and I think to a lot of people, seemed like a coaster kind of on the way out for a while now. Ever since it was relocated from, I believe, Magic Mountain, right? It used to be a coaster there. And as soon as they got those new trains with the 4 across seating, obviously everybody hated it. I actually didn't hate it as much as a lot of other people. I think I sat towards the back and didn't experience much discomfort. I actually enjoyed it. Like, it was a pretty fun and forceful ride. So, in that aspect, I'm a little bit bummed that it's getting removed. I think I would much rather see just a normal rough boomerang right next door, flashback get removed rather than this. Cause the giant inverted boomerangs boomerangs are pretty crazy cool. And Goliath really is a huge part of Six Flags New England's skyline. It's huge. It's right there. It's got the big, Goliath towers written on it. So it's a shame in that aspect. However, it is pretty exciting to think about the possibilities of that new plot of land that they open up with that for future redevelopment and, hopefully a future roller coaster. Obviously, this park is missing a launch coaster. It could use that desperately. My hope is that they actually also remove the other boomerang as well, just so they have an even bigger plot of land for an even more extreme launch coaster. I think that would be ideal for them. But, Cole, I got to ask you, though, do you think the park had heard all this hate from roller coaster enthusiasts about having two boomerangs right next to each other? Do you think park officials were like, whoa, what were we thinking?
No, I think that's more of an enthusiast complaint.
Yeah, I know.
I will say that I am part of the crowd that thought this ride was terrible. I rode it once. It was rough. It was horrible. So I'm happy to see it gone. In regards to what's coming, there was rumors that popped up a couple years ago that Six Flags and SNS might have done like a package deal for two launch coasters when they bought Max Force at Great America. And while a launch coaster probably wouldn't fit in that spot alone, like you said, maybe they just remove Flashback next year, kill two birds with one stone, and open up a nice new SNS for 2023. So it doesn't seem completely out of the realm of possibility. But with Max Force's issues, maybe they pulled back on their agreement. So we'll just have to wait and see. But with the two of those gone, it would be a really nice spot of land. It's right at the beginning of the park. But it has been, about 5 years now since the park got their last new roller coaster. So they're probably due pretty soon.
Well, Cole, we've mentioned the news of Wicked Twister's removal on this show, and obviously Cedar Point is getting rid of it. But that was sad enough in itself. But to add insult to injury, it's looking like the Intamin Impulse coaster will not be relocated to another park. Instead, parts of Wicked Twister will be dismantled and distributed to Valley Fair and Dorney Park to maintain their impulse coasters, Steel Venom and Possessed. Cedar Point Park official Tony Clark confirmed this news via Twitter, unfortunately. And not only does this mean that parks like Michigan's Adventure and Worlds of Fun will not be receiving a relocated Wicked Twister, but also that Steel Venom and Possessed seem to not be going anywhere anytime soon. So, Cole, in my opinion, it's good news for Dorney and Valley Fair, but very unfortunate that Wicked Twister will not officially be reborn at another park. So I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you basically said it all. The winners of this are Dorney Park and Valley Fair. I mean, their impulse coasters have been rumored to also be in the chopping block for years, as they've had problems, with the launches and the holding brakes and such. And the real losers here are Worlds of Fun and Michigan's Adventure, which were kind of the two obvious locations for a relocated Wicked Twister to go, with those parks not having a launch coaster. So it is a bummer, I guess, that Wicked Twister is going to be gone, scrap for parts. But yeah, I mean, that's really all it comes down to.
Yeah, to me, I'm really disappointed about this just because, Wicked Twister was out of all the impulses in America. It was really the unique one. It was the tallest. It had the two twisted spikes. I thought for sure, just the uniqueness of that coaster, that it was definitely going to be going to another park. But obviously, it seems like Intamin is starting to phase these coasters out. And, I guess they are clearly getting to be more and more expensive to maintain. So Cedar Fair just said, screw it. We'll, get rid of this. Just distribute the parts to other parks and call it a day. It is really unfortunate, but, it makes sense.
So for our final story, we have this crazy news out of Saudi Arabia where the government is planning to build a theme park and resort on a formal oil rig in the Arabian Gulf. The rig is what they're calling an extreme park and will have roller coasters, zip lines, water slides, as well as 3 hotels over its 37 acres spread across connected platforms. This comes in addition to the massive Six Flags Qiddiya project that's also being developed in Saudi Arabia and currently under construction. Jack, it never really ceases to amaze me how the theme park industry just continues to grow and expand, especially overseas. Give me your thoughts on this insane project.
Yeah, I mean, for one, it's super unique. I mean, I like the name. It's simple. Obviously, it's on an oil rig, the rig, and it's super cool, at least like based on the renderings. We'll see if this plan actually comes to fruition. There's a whole lot of factors that go into it. Obviously, I feel like is the whoever's planning this might not be putting into consideration how much it might cost to maintain these rides. The fact that it's built on the ocean, so it's like there's so many different factors, and it's so, like I said, it's unique. It's that nothing like this has ever been done before. So it's definitely an exciting project. We'll see what happens with it. But I'm glad you brought up Six Flags Qiddiya because obviously they've got like what's that called, Falcon's Fury. That's supposed to be the world's tallest, fastest, longest coaster. We'll still see if that ends up, being true. Obviously there's been plenty of these, Middle Eastern projects that have, been planned and been, not executed at all.
Yeah, we've seen for years these overseas projects that are just, so ambitious and then never come to light. I think in this case, the money behind this is just immeasurable. So maybe this one and also the Six Flags Qiddiya project maybe have a better chance of actually happening.
And yeah, it's definitely looking like the country of Saudi Arabia is definitely starting to try to prioritize tourism, with Six Flags Qiddiya and with this. Obviously, tourism's a booming industry and, good for them.
That's it for episode 7 of the Coaster Rundown. Thank you as always for joining us here. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube. Do the same for Jack at Coaster John on both Instagram and here on YouTube.
And as always, thank you guys for checking out the Coaster Rundown. We'll see you in the next episode.